What's going on, Ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica,
And I'm Chelsea.
and it's time for our much needed coffee break. So, last episode, I mentioned that maybe we should kind of go over who we are, why we're doing this, because I don't know, Chelsea and I tend to talk as if you guys already know us, but we know there's a lot of new listeners here. So, for our catch up segment for today's episode, we're going to be asking each other some questions just so, the new ones, the new ghosties, can get to know us. And so, let me go ahead and start us off. Chelsea, are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. How did we meet?
I'm pretty sure you were bullying me in the first grade. That's like probably how we met. But for sure it was the first grade that we met.
Listen, I don't bully people until we're already friends.
Are you sure about that? Maybe
Yeah.
now. Maybe now, but
Ew. No, always. My second question for you, let's move on quickly from that first question.
instant regret.
I know, I'm like, fuck. Why are you doing this podcast?
Because I like spooky shit and you and I didn't talk for like 5 years. Like we have this friendship before we started this podcast, Ghosties, where Veronica and I, like as soon as I moved from California when we were well, I think we were 14 and 15 or something.
Mm,
But we would talk like every 4 months or so. And it would only be for like an hour and then like that was it. Like we wouldn't talk to each other for like a couple months again.
yeah,
And every time I would go to California to visit during the summers, like it was like, I had never left. Like we were always hanging out the entire summer. I like to the point where I think your parents and my grandparents were like super annoyed. But
like, ugh,
but
not the redhead again.
yeah. So like but your parents loved me. I was the only one that was allowed to stay the night. Like I was the first person that was allowed to stay the night.
Oh, that's what you
But
think.
no, I was the first person. I was the first
No, no,
person.
no, I'm saying that's
You
what you
can
think, that my
it.
parents liked you.
Oh, well, obviously they had to because they wouldn't have let me stay the night otherwise.
Or they wouldn't have let me stay.
And they wouldn't have
Yeah,
let you stay with Nana and Grampy for like 2 weeks while they went to
that's true.
Mexico. So
That's true. Well, they ditched me.
but so yeah, once we like were out of high school and we were starting to work, like I didn't go to California very often. So it was like I talked to you like 3 times a year.
Mhm.
So this podcast just like gives me an excuse to hang out with you, even though we live
Yeah.
miles away from each other.
And we've never been closer, which I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like a lot of people will relate to our type of friendship, or at least the type of friendship we had, because even with like other friends that I have, we only talk like every so often, but when we hang out, it's as if like no time has passed and we're
Yeah.
still like our 16-year-old self.
Yeah.
Which is great. I fucking love that. Like it's kind of a friendship I have with Taylor, who's been on the podcast
Mhm.
before, and she lives in Florida, so we rarely talk, we rarely text, but when we do, it's like no time has passed, and we're just
Yeah.
catching up or we're talking about whatever, this and that.
I have that
Um,
same friendship with Z
yeah,
because I
I
think like
unfortunately don't. I hear from her every single day. I'm just kidding. I
the
love her.
first time that she was on the podcast, I remember like you were just in the background. You were like here because we just like nonstop were like catching up because we hadn't talked
And same with you and
in like
Taylor.
4 or
Same with
5
you.
years. Yeah.
You and Taylor, swear to God, were talking for like 30 minutes, and I was just like over here fucking filing my nails or something.
And the best part is it was all recorded, so like I had to go through and fucking edit all of that out.
Yeah, that's what you get.
That was my karma. But what
um,
about you? Like, do you have a similar reason, or is yours just like different of
like
why
why
you're
I'm
doing
doing this
it?
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, initially it was to have more reason to talk to you and more opportunity to talk with you, and continue our love for the spooky together.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that was like, I remember talking to you about it, and I was in the parking lot during my lunch, like talking to you, like we should do a podcast and just talk about this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, because it was one of
Um,
those moments, right, where me out of the blue, you're like, "Hey, I was thinking about you. Like, how are you?" And then we started talking about spooky shit, And you made a
Yeah,
joke when you were like, "We should make a podcast about this," and then I was like, "Dude, I'm down," and then it just, like, became a
it actually
reality.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've always, since I can remember, I think maybe even, I think like after I watched The Blair Witch and like Paranormal Activity, like I knew I enjoyed getting scared and I
Mhm.
knew I enjoyed like ghost hunting and like the true crime stuff didn't come to like in my 20s.
Mhm.
But like I don't know, I love talking about it. I now love searching things up and learning about different places, going to different places and actually doing things and being able to share that not only with you but with the ghosties. Like it's so exciting, and hopefully
Yeah.
it gets people to go out there and, well, at least the people that enjoy this stuff to go out there and do tours or ghost hunt and you know
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's my reasoning behind it. I have a lot of fun on this podcast. I don't think there's an episode that goes by that I don't have a good laugh with you, that I'm not saying, "What the fuck did you just say, Chelsea? Did you really just say that?" Like,
It
there's a lot
happens a
to
lot.
record, a lot. um, but yeah, I have a lot of fun. I think it's pretty cool to hear people like, oh, so I listened to this episode and you guys are talking about that. Like, I don't know, that's just a cool experience. And then that just kind of extends like the conversation to more people. Like, oh shit, not like now
Mhm.
I could talk to you about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so those are my, God, I wish episode one sounded like this. I like scary stuff. That's why I'm here.
But we were so new, like, we weren't confident, yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's okay, like, I
I'm
forgive
still
us.
mad. I'm still mad that that's our most listened to episode. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, my next question for you is, what can listeners expect from you on this podcast?
Well, like you just said, for sure, me admitting a lot of stuff that is just
Hmm.
kinda like, "Did you really just say
It's
that?" And
risky. It's risky. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, but other than that, like, can just expect, like, raw honesty, like, I don't fucking hide shit, like,
Yeah.
I don't
And you
know.
don't sugarcoat stuff either.
Yeah, I really don't, and that's, like, a lot of I get called a bitch a lot just because of that, but, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat things, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel, and if you don't like it, then sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's just life. You're gonna go through life not liking certain things or certain opinions and get over it.
Oh, I love it. Um, so you're an amazing author, phenomenal author.
Oh shucks. You're
What
making
has
me blush.
you're like, tell me more. What has been your favorite piece of writing that you have done?
I wrote this short story during my graduate courses.
Mhm.
Because Ghosties, for those of you that don't know, I have a master's degree in English and writing, and, I wrote this short story. You actually read it, and it's called Night Stalker,
Mhm. I
and
love it.
yeah, eventually, I am going to publish it in an anthology, that's in the works right now, but it was one of those where it was supposed to be, like, creepy, like, stalkerish, like, obviously, it's called Night Stalker, like, stalkerish, and then, like, the plot twist. Did you like the plot twist at the end?
I enjoyed the entire thing, honestly, because at the time I was reading The Silent Patient, and
Mhm.
it was like pretty much on the same like subject.
Mhm.
I know it doesn't sound like it, The Silent Patient, but if you read the book, you'll find out. But I think because of that I enjoyed it even more than I would have originally have enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I that was my favorite just because, like, I was trying to go for something, like, spooky, something that, like, you weren't expecting, and kinda like that, like, sensual kind of feel, I don't know how to explain it, like, exactly,
It's very
but I
realistic too.
yeah, and
Like
I felt like I
it's
had
one of
mastered
those.
it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I
I
for
mastered what
sure
I
am
was
now
going
looking
for.
over my shoulder like when I'm walking alone, like fuck.
Yeah, but that piece, like, it inspired a change in tone for one of the second book that I wrote that's published, Obsession.
Mhm.
When I first wrote that book, I was in high school, and I really wanted to capture the Night Stalker and put it into like the new version of Obsession for when I published it. And so that
Mhm.
was like that piece was my favorite just because it helped inspire like an entire different tone and vibe for this duology, which the
Mhm.
book 2 isn't out yet, but yeah. Speaking of, like, since you brought up my books, um, I'm super excited. I have another book coming out next week, which by the time this comes out, it'll already be out. But
Ooh, that's exciting. Amazon?
yeah, yeah. Is done. Like I've already sent the information to my book cover artist, and so as long as everything, because she's sick right now, like she got sick after she took
Mhm.
my order. So as long as like everything goes according to plan, it'll this airs. So I am so excited.
I'm excited for you. I get really excited when you come out with a new book. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's like one of those things where it's I should be like, "Oh my God, you fucking have a book." Like, no, it's like I've known you for so many years and this has been your passion for so long. It's like it makes sense, you know? It's
Yeah.
like this should be happening type of thing.
Yeah, like, everybody that knows me is just like, "Fucking finally," like
Yeah.
and it's funny because I've had multiple books, like, I have over 10 books that are already done and just, like, they've been
Mhm.
sitting there for years, and so I'm, like, I'm trying to rewrite them and get them all published, and I don't know if I told you this, but I kinda made, like, a I didn't do it on purpose, but in 2022, I had 2 books come out, right?
Mhm.
This year for 2023, I have plans for 3 books. Next year for
Ooh.
4, I have 4 books planned, and for 2025, I have 5 planned, and I didn't realize that I was doing that, like like
Yeah.
2000 like 2 I had 2 books, 3 I have 3, and I didn't realize that I was doing that, and then until somebody was like, "So in 2026, you're gonna have 6 books come out?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like they pointed it out, and I'm like, "Holy shit," like, "No, I'm gonna stop at 5. I'm gonna stop at 5."
Go ahead and name drop your first 2 books that are already out and which you could find on Amazon, guys.
The first one is P.S. I Forgive You, and it is not for the faint of heart. If like it's a new genre called journal artism, so if you are easily triggered, like it's definitely not for you.
Let's just
Um
say after just a couple of pages, I was already crying.
yeah, everybody that like has read it and they've messaged me and they're like, I was in fucking tears at one point or another. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, because everyone's like, it's so raw and it's so relatable. And so yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. But my second book is Obsession, and that's a duology. Book 2 comes out this December, and I'm just gonna name drop my Becoming the Bad Girl is the first book of a trilogy, and it should be out by the time that this comes out.
Chelsea Wolf, find her on Amazon. Make sure you purchase your books today. Um,
And Ghosties, make sure you get yourself a best friend that hypes you up. Because
fuck yeah.
that's basically what Veronica just did.
uh, so aside from you being an author, what do you do for work?
So a couple of things. I recently just had to like I took a year off work technically. I was working from home, but it wasn't making enough and I wanted to let a couple of things done. So I went back to work. Right now I am working in the automotive industry. I don't know if I'm allowed to say like, some jobs they don't really like want you to
No,
tell
you're
you,
good.
but
Just say what you can. It was just like a little like who are you type of.
yeah, but I'm a press operator and we make the fans for cars. So I literally just stand there all day and I trim the fans as they come out of the machines so that way they don't like cut people. But when I was working from home and technically I'm still doing it, like I've slowed down on it. I am a
Mhm.
freelance editor, so I edit people's books all day and then I also format for paperback and ebook, which came in handy because now I don't have to pay somebody to format it for me. Just like
Mhm.
whenever I want. Because like I wasn't working this job when my first book came out. So I didn't know how to paperback format. So I had to pay somebody to do it. Well, now I wanna make changes to the book, and I'm like, I have to pay that person to make the changes because they put in all the illustrations already for me. So, like, that kinda sucks, but, like, that experience was good. But, I'm also, editor-in-chief for a nonprofit called The Love Story, which is actually what P.S. I Forgive You, came from is because they're a nonprofit that focuses on using journaling to help with mental health problems.
She's also a mother of two people,
Yeah.
okay?
How can I forget that full-time job?
Yeah.
It's like a never-ending thing, which I I don't know if like Mother's Day just passed, and I kind of have a funny story for you since you were saying like I was a mother.
Uh-huh.
But so for context, like I just had exterminators a couple weeks ago, and part of the setup was that I had to get rid of as many clothes in the house as I could. Well, because the chemicals that I had been using before they got here were making my skin like break out, like I was having a really bad reaction to it. I uh I decided to just wash all of the clothes as I was moving them out of the house. And so I ended up doing like 18 loads of fucking laundry, right? And I was because I'm working third shift right now, I was like way too tired to keep up with folding them. So I ended up throwing them in trash bags, and when they were finished, I just threw all of the clothes on the couch, and they're still here to this day. Like I there's like 16 loads of unfolded laundry on my couch that I just like the more I look at it, the more I dread it. But so Izzy is my oldest daughter, and she's in first grade, and her teacher just did a happy Mother's Day video for all of the mothers she posted online. And it was all of the kids in her class telling why they love their moms. And fucking Izzy, she goes, I love my mom because laundry. And, and there was a couple moms that commented on it, and they were like to the laundry mom, can you be my mom too? And I was like, only if you don't mind your laundry sitting on your couch for 2 weeks. They were like, I
Yeah.
feel that. They were like, I feel that.
Izzy
Being
just didn't get specific on how long it takes you to do the laundry.
Yeah, she's just happy that I did it because she's one of those like she just goes with the flow like no matter what it is. And I told her, I was like, look, I was like, all of these clothes are clean. All of your clothes that are missing from your room. I was like, just find something to wear. She's
Just
like,
dig, girl,
okay.
just dig.
She's like, okay, no problem, mom. I was like, cool, thanks.
So my next question for you, it's an important one.
Okay.
What's so amazing about your co-host?
Everything. I don't even know where to start.
There's no limit here, so you
There's
start
no
wherever you want.
She's like, keep going, go in as much detail. Tell me all of the
Yes,
things.
tell me
Um,
everything.
I love how we're always there for each other, like, even living so far apart, like, we can just call and just talk and rant and get whatever we need to, like, we have the ability to calm each other down,
Hmm.
get really upset, and that's an amazing thing that I don't take for granted, and, you're one of those people, like, there's very few people that I would, like, drop whatever I'm doing just to talk if you called, I'm one of
Hmm.
them. I love the fact that you, like you take everybody that you like to Suicide Bridge, like, that I find that hilarious.
No, I don't.
If
I
you
do
like them, you do.
actually.
Yeah, if you
I
like them, you
do, yeah.
do. So, Ghosties, I've said this before, but if Veronica hasn't taken you to Suicide Bridge, she doesn't like you.
Yeah, if I'm really comfortable with being myself, I will definitely take you to Suicide Bridge just because, like, I don't know, like, I love the spookiness, you know? I love
Mhm.
the history, and some people find that weird, so, you know.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that you're just, like, so chill, and even though you'll be like, some of the things that I say, you'll just be like, you just said that," and you're just like, "Fuck it, that's just Chelsea, though." Um,
It is.
but, yeah, no, I just love how, like, down to earth you are and how chill you are. Like, you're not afraid to tell people, like, if you don't like them or whatever, but, like, you can most of the time, you can get along with just about anybody.
So my next question, I'm a little upset that you didn't say I was funny, but my next question,
I wasn't done yet, but you were just like, "Okay, next question."
whatever. Um, why should people listen to our podcast?
'Cause we're fucking hilarious.
Fuck yeah, dude. You can get
There's no other
high,
reason.
you can sip on your wine, you can
You can
even
drink your
listen to us
coffee.
sober. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're quite a unique pair, I would say.
Yeah, you don't even have to really like spooky stuff to get enjoyment from listening to us.
That's true. Why are you still my friend?
Fuck
That's
if
my
I
last
know.
question for you. Love it. I love it. All right, well, those are my questions. Good job, Chelsea.
That's funny. I was just I don't think you were expecting that answer.
No.
Um, so my first question for you, what creeps you out the most?
That's a great question. What creeps me out the most? Hmm. You're good. You can edit this all out. My thinking.
Just edit the dead silence.
I don't know if it's like a creepy feeling I get or just like it bothers me, but like being watched.
Okay.
Being watched or stared at for a long period of time. Like I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah. Can you like sense when people are watching you even if you don't know somebody is?
Sometimes, but most of the time my brain is like scrambling through so many thoughts to try to distract myself from the idea of it, and I'm just trying to get whatever I'm doing done so I could leave that area. But yeah, I for the most part I could sense it.
Okay. My next question is we've already discussed how I admit a lot on this podcast, right? Because I
Mhm,
have
mhm,
no filter. But do you ever
mhm.
have any thoughts that make you go like, what the fuck? Or just make you think like, am I insane for thinking that? Or even like I went too far with that thought?
So the only thing that really pops in my head that's like a highlight from the many things that you have said is when you described how it feels
Oh, we're
like
not talking about me. We're not talking about me. We're talking about you. Have you ever had those moments?
okay, you got scared real quick.
Yeah, because I knew what you were gonna say.
uh
No, we're talking about you. Have you ever had those
have
moments?
I ever had those thoughts?
Yeah. Not like thoughts like specifically like the thoughts that I've had, but just something that's like made you go like, "What the fuck? Did I just really think that?" Or did your brain go too far with that thought? You know what I mean?
No. I no, I I just I don't know. I want to say I never really take things too far, but then it's like I
You don't have to
will
take things
rarely like
to think
I
about taking
know.
things too far.
I realize like for example when I learned where a certain actor where his favorite like smoothie shop was and I actually like found it and the way I found it like to me it was like fun. But then explaining it to someone how I was able to figure it out
How you
was
internet
when
stalk
I
them.
realized I, you know, those are public photos, and what you do with that information is all on you. Um, but like, yeah, to me, it's like fun. It's harm. Like, I'm not. I don't mean no harm. It's just like a fun thing. But yeah, when I explain it to other people, it's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be admitting this.
That's fucking great. I love that. I love that for you.
Oh,
My next question, have you always followed like your passion or did you do what your parents wanted you to do?
I did what my parents wanted me to do, which sucks. I love my parents. I respect them, but I don't respect the fact that I was kind of maneuvered to a certain direction. The thing is that they do support my dreams, but they've always kept me with a realistic mindset and that I need to make money and pay my bills. And it's kind of
Mhm.
just one of those like things that you get from your like once immigrant parents, who come here to work and to make sure that you have a sustainable life ahead of you.
Mhm.
But like for example, like I college, like moving out and like going to a college somewhere outside of like my hometown was not um an option.
Mhm.
Because to them that's just when you get pregnant and you party and you just like start going downhill with your life. So I feel like I was robbed of that opportunity to study and like do something better with my life.
And I
But
feel like that's kind of where we went like opposite directions
mhm,
because like my family's always been supportive, but
mhm,
my grandma was like really insistent like you need to go like to medical school because medical degrees are what is going to keep you financially stable. And she's
Mhm.
like, don't go for English and writing, like it's not going to be a stable income. Being a writer is not, like you're not going to be the next Stephen King like overnight.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, it hurt, but I was like, I'm going to fucking do what I want anyways.
Yeah.
Because
And like
I had my medical stuff all planned out. Like I was going to go for surgical tech. Like I had it all planned out, and then I was like, no,
mhm.
fuck, I'm not going to be happy, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, which is another reason why I went to pharmacy school and to become a pharmacy technician because, when you're in the medical field, that's kind of like a safe career
Yeah,
to have.
exactly.
And I was even talking to one of my customers the other day, like, during COVID in 2020, like so many people were laid off, didn't have
Mhm.
jobs, didn't have an income. And although
Safe.
I was stressed as like I do not remember my work days during COVID because they were so stressful, traumatic in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and everything that happened in my personal life as well, but I still had that job.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna get fired. I didn't have to worry about it. And I've been at the pharmacy now for it's gonna be 8 years,
Mhm.
but I still absolutely love and have a passion for singing. Like I love singing. Whether I'm not great, I'm okay, but I
Shut the
love
fuck
it.
up. Yes, you are.
And if I could be like if my career could be just me singing, that would be fucking amazing. But unfortunately by the way that I was raised, that's not a realistic thing anymore. It's
Mhm.
more of a okay, I gotta go to work, make my money. But part of me is still holding on to that dream. I don't know if it'll ever go anywhere the slightest bit, but I it will forever be my passion and my love. So
Ghosties, for those of you that don't know, Veronica is definitely lying. She is not an okay singer. She is a great singer. And one of my favorite things about like our childhood memories, like this is like the best thing about like growing up with your best friend for, and staying best friends. I remember in middle school when we used to write songs together. Like I actually a
yeah,
couple of months ago found some of our songs that we had written.
no way.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I remember," because like you wanted to be a singer so bad, and so we were like,
Yeah,
"Fuck it, like let's write songs. Let's do it."
yeah. I
And
remember like the first time I ever wrote a song. I think it was like third grade where I wrote my first song, and
mhm,
then somewhere in high school, one of my nephews, he went to USC as like a music major. Like his passion was music as well.
mhm,
Music runs in our blood, by the way. And I wrote a song and he came over and he uh like made the music for it and it was like a full complete song. I don't
mhm.
have it anymore. Don't remember how it goes at all, but to have that as a memory was is pretty cool and I want that to become a reality again. Whether like I my goal here is not to become famous. That's not my goal. My goal is just literally to make music and sing
Yeah,
and
like
like
that's how I feel.
perform.
Yeah, like that's how I feel with writing. Like I don't want to like, I don't want to be the next Stephen King or J.K. Rowling, or I just want to publish my books.
Not JK.
What? She's a fucking billionaire.
Girl, what are you gonna do with all that money?
Fucking probably do like she does and donate most of it. You get it
Okay,
all
that's
back
right.
at tax return anyways.
Okay.
She's the first billionaire to go broke because she donated all of her fucking money.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with all that money. I would help people. Like, there's way too many homeless vets that need help. There's too many, women in situations that need help getting out. Like, if I had billions of dollars, like I would quit my job and I would fucking do that shit all day.
I would hope you would quit your job if you were a fucking billionaire. Girl, what the fuck?
But no, so like with me is like that knows me is like, oh, like that's not surprising at all. It wouldn't be surprising to me if you started like a YouTube channel and just started like if you learned to play the guitar again and just started posting your own songs. Like that wouldn't surprise me.
I just don't have the confidence, man.
Yeah. So my next question for you on that sad note, could you ever get a tattoo as a joke?
It depends on the tattoo, I guess.
Okay. Would you ever do like the Russian roulette tattoo that they do? Like you just like pick like sometimes they have like the gumball machines, other times you just pick something out of a jar.
Oh,
Would you ever do one of those?
you know what? I'm gonna go with no.
No.
Because all the tattoos I have like a meaning behind them, whether it's like super important or not. Um,
Well, I mean that tattoo would have yeah, you would kind of like it would have like a memory attached to it, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
like it
No,
technically would mean something. Like what if we got drunk and went to Vegas and got random tattoos?
all right. Well, I guess, but I would have to be really drunk.
What is your favorite quote?
The tragedy of life isn't that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it.
God damn. That's like
That's my high school
deep.
quote. That's my high school quote. And I stand by it.
I don't know if I had a high school quote, but I'm kind of scared to look at it if I do. So
Oh
like
well.
because like my favorite quotes like right now, like I have two. One of them is tattooed on me, the other like I'm going to get tattooed eventually. But
Hmm.
it was her chaos that made her beautiful, which is the one that I have tattooed.
Oh, I love that.
And then the other one that I'm gonna get tattooed on my opposite arm, is she wears her strength and darkness equally well. The girl has always been half goddess, half hell.
Ooh, a little
Yeah.
rhyme in there.
But what made you like that quote?
I just remember like looking stuff up for it, and I don't know. It's true, like the tragedy of life isn't that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. Like so many of us, and it's crazy how I did this when I was 18, but like so many of us like just wait so long to like start enjoying life and I guess realizing the true purpose of life. We spend so much time finding our purpose and going to school and figuring out what we want to do. I don't know.
So my next question is, do you ever look at a person and immediately think like we couldn't be friends?
Yes, absolutely. All the time, every day. Every single day. Every single day I find somebody or a group of people. I listen, I work in a pharmacy, okay? I come across a lot of like different types of people. There's people that are great, super nice, super chill. There's people that are super loving and caring, people who are appreciative, people that just like want to go and pick up their prescriptions and head home, get it.
Hmm.
And then there's like some people that just it's almost like they make a living out of making your life miserable in a way.
Hmm.
And like it's not even just customers, it's like certain workers, random people you run into when you go to the store or whatever it is. Like I don't know, but yes, always I'm like, no, I don't like you. We cannot be friends. i
Yeah,
like i
I'm
like
the same way.
kind people. I love people that I don't know. I do have a type, but
Yeah.
and I'm not that picky, but
What's your type?
I definitely people that like are open-minded.
Hmm.
I think that's like my number one, open-minded, because if you're not open-minded and you're closed-minded, one, you're not gonna laugh at my jokes. I won't like you if you don't laugh at my jokes, okay?
That's your red flag right there.
Red flag. Um, I can't I don't know. If I can't be myself around you, you're probably a closed-minded person because I am a very weird, random, funny person.
Hmm.
I'm a good person. And I guess I don't know. It just takes a certain type of person to understand me, but I don't know. If you're a bitch and you're rude, I won't like you. I won't like you at all.
Yeah. So my last question, I came up with it because like I just figured out what mine was. What do you think
Hmm.
your aesthetic is?
It would be like right now I feel like I'm all over the place, but I'm like a Chicana who loves old school music more than today's music,
Hmm.
Spanish, English, young at heart, so like colorful. Me myself, I'm not colorful. I always wear black and dark clothing, but the way I see the world is very colorful. So I don't know if that could be part of my aesthetic or describing it, but that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google what's my aesthetic quiz.
Yeah. It took me a while to like kind of figure out what mine was.
Hmm.
And I kind of stumbled upon it on accident.
Hmm. Hmm.
And mine is bohemian goth.
Bohemian. That's so specific.
Like, I really love, like, the chill vibes of, like, the boho look and everything, but like
Mhm.
you, I wear all black, like, I want my house dark, like, like, I like the darker stuff, and, like, if you actually, like, look up the term, like, boho goth, my entire like, everything that I love will just, like, pop up.
I mean, I guess I could say my username for like my gaming tags, sad hippie 420, like that says it all. I'm sad, I'm hippie-ish, I'm a
Yeah.
stoner. Like, you know,
Yeah, like, okay, so maybe not, like, sad hippie, maybe emo hippie.
I'm not emo. What the yo no soy
Just 'cause you
emo,
just 'cause
okay?
you wear all the all black.
I do, but like, listen, I do wear all black, but if you're in my room, like, I have fucking colorful ass piñatas. I have like 30 Grogu's in here. I have
Yeah, but that's
Marilyn
your hippie
Monroe on my
side.
wall. Yeah, I'm not emo. I don't know why I'm so offended, but I'm not. I'm so offended by that, Chelsea.
Listen, we just talked about how I don't give a fuck if people get offended. We all have opinions.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
my
kidding. I love
feelings are
you.
hurt. Whatever.
Okay. What about like dark hippie? Does that work? Is that less offensive to you?
No, it's very offensive. Is it because I'm Mexican that you're gonna call me both?
With you. Get us started on the true crime topic of the week.
So the true crime topic of the week is going to be on the murder of Sylvia Likens. There will be a name in this segment that I cannot pronounce to save my life, so bear with me. So this disturbing case takes place in Indianapolis, Indiana, in 1965, where police officers found the body of 16-year-old Sylvia Likens laid on a filthy mattress. This case still haunts Indiana even more than 50 years after this took place. Sylvia Likens was born on January 3rd, 1949, and was the third of five children born to carnival workers, Lester Likens and Elizabeth Francis. Sylvia would earn her income by working as a babysitter, running errands, or performing ironing chores for friends and neighbors. Often it was her mom that she would be running errands for. She has been described as being friendly, confident, and a young girl full of life. By June 1965, Sylvia and Jenny Likens resided with their parents in Indianapolis. On July 3rd, their mother was arrested and subsequently jailed for shoplifting. Shortly thereafter, Lester Likens arranged for his daughters to board with Gertrude Baniszewski, the mother of two girls with whom the sisters had recently become acquainted while studying at Arsenal Technical High School. Paula and Stephanie Benes, oh my God, I'm not even going to say the last name. At this time of the sporting agreement, Gertrude assured Lester that she would take care of his daughters until his return as if they were her own children. Gertrude would not keep her word as she began to abuse both the sisters. By mid August, Gertrude had begun to focus her abuse almost exclusively upon Sylvia, with her primary motivation likely being jealousy of the girl's youth, appearance, respectability, and potential. Fast forward to when her body was discovered, she was covered in more than 150 burns and cuts. It was clear at first that the young girl had starved to death, as she was little more than skin and bones. Later, it was found that she died of a brain hemorrhage and malnutrition. Mother of seven, Gertrude, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Likens' parents had paid Gertrude $20 a week to care for her and her other daughter, Jenny. Instead, they were the mother. I fucking hate her name and I can't say it. Allowed her children to beat Likens and force her to eat feces. Attorney Natty Bumpo said a lot of the people have compared this to Lord of the Flies, but that was just a bunch of uncontrolled children. In this case, they had an adult supervising what they were doing. It wasn't children going wild, it was children doing what they were told. Um, so for the sake of time, there's so much more gruesome details to the murder of Sylvia Likens that I kept out. If you want to hear more, I don't mind bringing this back up for like a part two and getting more into detail. But it's just sad that she died because of jealousy, and her sister went through a lot of torture for literally nothing. And the thing is that the parents, like I mentioned, were paying this lady $20 a week. And sometimes, I think like for 2 weeks, she didn't get the money. And so she beat Jenny and her sister, pretty much saying, like, um, I took care of you for those 2 weeks for fucking nothing, as she
Mhm.
was beating them. So, but that's my true crime topic of the week.
I feel like it's crazy that you like brought up Indianapolis because I'm going there for Izzy's cheer competition this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And now all I'm gonna think about is this true crime topic while I'm there.
Yeah, have fun, man, have fun.
Thanks for that. Thanks.
I'll go into more detail with you afterwards, but well, I don't know. I don't want to ruin your trip, but yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, would you like to get us started on paranormal topic of the week?
Yeah. So for this week's paranormal topic, I was actually able to find a pronunciation for this one, so I'm actually kind of excited because I'm not going to be butchering a name for once. So, Himeji Castle has been located in Himeji, Japan for the last several hundred years. It was founded originally in 1333, but then was rebuilt in the early 1600s. It has survived multiple historical disasters, including the bombing of the city in World War II and the Great Hashin earthquake of 1995. So like it's pretty like significant to the citizens. But
Yeah.
before its reconstruction, the building was actually supposed to be just a fort, but was rebuilt as a castle from the son of a samurai and governor of that province, and then was later changed a few more times by other people until it got to where it is today. The castle has over 80 buildings today, and it was designed to confuse any invaders, which is obvious with the complex navigation on the inside. There's even a quote from a tour guide that I found, and I'm just paraphrasing, but basically they stated that rather than using hot oil to pour over intruders, they would use boiling water so that they wouldn't stain the plastic work. And I think that that's fucking hilarious. Like like, not only did they build this fucking building to confuse the shit out of you, but they're also, like, not gonna damage it, and they're just gonna pour hot water instead of oil,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. So the castle has been featured in several movies, including the 1967 James Bond movie, but it became popular because of its use and inspiration in the horror movie The Ring. So this was inspired by the tale of a spurned samurai and his unrequited love, which is a famous ghost story of the castle. The warrior Tasan, I'm not going to say his last name. I'm on a roll here with like pronunciations. So Tasan was in love with a servant named Okuku, and she rejected him and came up with a scheme to force her to be with him by stealing one of the valuable golden plates that he was assigned to look after.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he told her that he would blame her for stealing it if she did not agree to be with him. So this would have led her to being tortured and executed. So regardless, his plan didn't work and he threw her down a well, which is still located outside of the castle and is known as Okuku's Well today. Her ghost was said to have crawled out all fours to torment the samurai, and he lost his mind.
Ew.
Hence the inspiration for the ring, if any of the ghosties listening have watched it. It's said that when she crawled out of the well, she would walk to the mansion of plates, count the plates, and when she only found 9 instead of 10 that should have been, she would scream unnaturally. This is eventually what caused Tassan to go insane because he refused to put the plate back to spite her, and he was thrown out of the castle.
That's gross.
Yeah.
The
An
last thing I want to hear is a fucking scream.
Right, right, and as well as having to, like, watch her climb out of the well. Like, the entire time I was doing my notes and researching this, I was like, all I could picture was the girl from The Ring, and I'm like, "Stop, stop."
Dude, the whole reason why I've never seen The Ring is because just the idea of knowing that this creepy ass fucking girl is gonna be crawling out of a well on all fours, like,
Dude, I
no.
know, like, I'm getting chills, like, just thinking about it, like, it was so bad. But, so another version of this same story is that she actually just found a plate missing, counted them, she was then suspended over the well, beaten, lowered into the water until she nearly drowned, and was brought back up to be tortured again, and this continued in a vicious cycle until she was dead.
Mm.
After her body was thrown in the well, and then the well was covered. which is also in the Ring movie. Multiple
Mhm.
witnesses say that they see her appear at the well rather than crawl out, that she'll count to 9 and then start crying out in anger and fear before disappearing again. With this version of the story, it's also like there's a legend saying that if you catch her counting and you say 10 right after she says 9, it will let her spirit rest for a little while, but she always comes back, which is really sad. There are other versions of the story as well, but they basically they all end with the same thing, like a cuckoo being tortured, killed, thrown into the well, and her spirit not being able to rest, which is what
Mhm.
caused her to become a Uremi, which is a Japanese ghost that died in a sudden or rash-like circumstance. Other hauntings from this castle include that of a demon ghost known by the Japanese as a yokai, which is the name of like a demon ghost for them. But
Mhm.
this one goes by the name of, and here's where I'm going to butcher the names, Osaka Behimi, who lives in the castle tower and avoids humans who she hates. Kind of like us.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Ghosties. This is why we're friends.
Yes, we get it.
In some of the legends, she takes the form of an old woman, and in others, she takes the form as a woman in her 30s. But both versions, she's seen in a ceremonial 12-layered kimono, and she could read human minds and control lesser animal-like yokai. Another legend is that of a haunting that's associated with Sakurai Jinebi, who was a master carpenter in the construction of the original keep. According to this legend, he was dissatisfied with his construction of the keep, feeling that it leaned a little to the southeast. Eventually, he brought that he climbed to the top of the keep where he jumped to his death with a chisel in his mouth.
Oh,
That's an artist for you. This castle is absolutely beautiful and it gets hundreds of thousands of visitors every year, and that number has like only grown. And since like the 1964, they call it the shower era restoration. When it was complete in 1964 until today, it's gotten over 40 million visitors out like over the years.
wow.
Like it, and it's so fucking beautiful, dude. I would say that there would be pictures on Instagram, but we've been so bad with that.
Yeah, we need to get our shit together. Listen, like we mentioned last episode, we've had a lot of adulting to do recently, but
Yeah, yeah, and we're both exhausted, so sorry, guys. We'll get
um
our shit together eventually.
I don't know if you want to keep this on the podcast, but as you were talking, I was hearing weird noises at my door.
Mhm.
And I knew it was my mom. She
Better than the girl
fucking
from The Ring.
yeah, it's true.
She was what?
So underneath my door, she knows I'm recording. So I guess she was trying not to make noise, but she put a string cheese underneath my door and was like petting it. She does
Not
love
your mom
me.
trying to make sure you're okay.
I know. Eat a snack, sweetie. Because I was like,
Oh
what
my
the fuck is she?
god.
I hope she's not sweeping. And then I hear her walk away, and so I look, and there's something at the bottom of my door, and I'm like, what the hell is that? It's a fucking string cheese.
I love your
Don't
mom
mind if
so
I
much.
do.
She heard us
So
talking earlier.
random.
Yeah, she
About
must have heard us
snacks?
talking. Yeah. Yeah, ghosties. I'm cutting it out of the podcast, but Veronica and I stopped to like snack while we were recording. So your mom probably heard and like dropped off some snacks.
I love it. What else can she fit under that door, man? Bring me some like tamales. I don't know.
That's so funny. It's even funnier because like I was just watching this video. I for some reason really love like mowing transformations when they like make the yard look like really pretty when it's like
Yeah.
like full like so there was this guy, he mowed this lady's lawn and she moved there and she hadn't found a gardener and she was like, "Oh, thank you." She was Hispanic and everybody because he was like, "She brought me some snacks and some food and made sure I was taken care of." And she goes, "Everyone in the car Mexican for you, always making sure that you're
Yeah.
taken care of."
Yeah. My mom is the type of mom, like I remember back in the day, back in high school, when I would have my like kickbacks at my house and I'd be chugging my Four Locos.
Mhm.
Mind you, well, maybe I shouldn't be admitting this. Never mind. Moving on.
You're having one of my moments.
I know, but I'm stopping myself.
Yeah, I don't stop myself. Um, so for the last segment, Ghosties, we're going to be doing a tarot reading for the month ahead, which is going to be for June. And this is a 6 card reading. Card 1 is the overall theme of the month. Card 2 is our energy currently. Card 3 is what we should embrace. Card 4 is what we need to let go of. Card 5 are the obstacles this month. And card 6 is the advice and support. Card number 1 is the overall theme of the month, and this comes through the Four of Wands reversed. Our overall theme is that we are unstable or we have a lack of teamwork around us. So there's going to be a lot of things that are like postponed or canceled, and we're going to feel like neglected and just feel like nothing is working out. And
Man, don't say that.
yeah, yeah, especially it's like June, it's the first month of summer.
Bro, I already fit this meaning to like work. I have plans in June that I don't want to cancel.
Mhm. But, like and also, like, the card also represents, like, focusing on, like, your goals and stuff.
Hmm.
So, like, that could also be something else, like, the yin to the yang, whereas, things might be getting canceled, but this is the time for you to focus on yourself and your goals and celebrate, like, your achievements and stuff. So card 2 is our energy currently, and this comes through the King of Cups.
Why is it so hard for you to say energy?
Dude, I know, right? You hear it too? Like, I am struggling.
And then energy,
I
energy.
don't I don't know why. Like I struggled like a couple times saying it and I'm not sure why. So we're just gonna like I'm not gonna say it again. But
No, you're
it's so
fine.
funny that you caught that cuz like I was trying so fucking hard.
I caught it like the first 10 times, but I was like, nah, wait, I'll wait, I'll wait.
Maybe it's because it's like our energy. There we go. Like I said at that time.
Good
Anyways,
job.
yeah, fuck off. So
Oh,
currently we are feeling emotionally balanced, calm, and I feel like this is like a good thing. We
mm-hmm.
have a lot of balance in our life right now, and so that's probably why even if things do get canceled, we want to like focus on ourselves and our achievements just to make sure like we remind ourselves that we're doing.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Despite having the balance of our current energy, we are going to be feeling a lot of conflict and separation. And there's going to be this desire to release pain or recover from either heartbreak or, just any kind of negative emotion. And so sharing our views and not so much reconciling with like people that have hurt us, but just accepting it and admitting to it can lead to like forgiveness and can release that pain and traumatic experience. So we really need to embrace everything that's happened because not accepting the situation is going to just make it worse. And focusing on letting go is going to help us move forward.
Tell me why I feel like we've been getting that a lot. Like
Yeah.
every month ahead, like we've been getting that. It's important, you know?
Yeah. And that also, the cards can tell us to do something, but we may not always listen.
Mm-hmm.
So the card 4 is what we need to let go of this month. This comes through the Two of Swords. We're being torn between in love or our career, and we're like caught in the middle of things. So we have to make a decision, even if it's a difficult choice. But as long as you're analyzing the situation and you're like understanding the issue clearly, you just need to let go of the fact that you have to make the hard decisions this month. And I feel like that's also very important because sometimes the hard decisions are not easy to make. That's why they're hard decisions. So card represents the obstacles that we're going to want to fulfill a big goal or project, but we're not taking all the steps to get there. And so that's probably where our obstacle comes from. We want to always opt for like the quickest path to achieve something, but it won't lead to the outcome that we want. So we really need to stop and focus on a new approach and really growing from this opportunity so that way we don't face moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So card 6 is the advice and support, and this comes through the Two of Wands. So this card is talking about two choices or two paths or whatever. And so the advice is that we need to either just leave the situation or maybe even travel. And this is the time that we need to collaborate with others in order to form great partnerships, whether that's in career or personal life?
So it seems like there's a lot of difficult choices coming up this month, but we got to push through and hopefully realize that once we make those hard decisions, good will come from it. A lot of us are not listening to what the cards are saying. We're only hearing what the cards are saying. So keep that in mind and kind of ask yourself, like, what do I need to change? What is the best for me? But that all being said, Ghosties, are done with this episode. Oh my God.
This is gonna be so hard to edit.
You're fine. That all being said, thank you so much for joining us this week, Ghosties. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, make sure to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want a tarot card reading, please DM us and we'll choose one lucky person a week. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
Have a spooky weekend and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.